How you doing? Been a few days, ain't it? Or maybe more. Okay, we worked all weekend. Local logger came to me with a saw that he wanted to make run. He needed a spare saw. So I said, okay. Well, as you know, he brought me a 371 actually, right here. He'd been hit by a tree. There's parts missing. He bought it from somebody he knew. It says, well, this is probably a run. I said, yeah, it should. But we ended up with a lot more build than what we expected. A way bunch more. Pulled over real stiff. Smooth though, but stiff. Well, here's what happens. Bearings are bad in bottom end. I popped cylinder off. Cylinder, it was okay. You could run it. It'd run. It wasn't brand new by no means, but he didn't care. He just wanted the saw running. Well, to make a very long story short, next thing you knew, Saturday morning, we started in building. And split the cases, found out one of the cases was busted. So I scrounged around through my parts pile and we put the case together. Put some brand new SKF bearings from Wolf Creek. Saw a shop in it, seals. Went right on up. CCC supplied the piston. Just happened to have a couple right here. We did a big bore. That's a logging saw. This isn't playing around. This is a man that's got to work with a saw. So it has to have tunability, runability, be strong in a cut, and last. Well, he had an original black coil. Through the whole process of running this darn thing, once that coil got hot, it'd quit. But I didn't have any tunability. Spark was a little weak, but I brought the darn thing back home, and we ended up putting a new coil on it. And I used one of the NWP coils from Oak Creek Saw Shop in it, and I really like them because they're not a limited coil. And the price point's excellent. Right here is what it is. That was the box. So we did that to make runability. I couldn't get a carburetor right. Put another carburetor and another carburetor. And I'm going in these carburetors, make sure they're right, cleaning them and everything. Couldn't get enough fuel for nothing. So, here's what we ended up with. I'll show you. This is a 390 carb. See, on top. There's things you got to do. I used a 372 X-Torque air horn. You got to take your boot and you got to cut where your air hole, your impulse line comes through. You got to cut that out so you can rotate it because things don't just line up perfect. We've got one of our aluminum pieces here that holds the carb on, holds the throttle cable. So that's what we got. And it's things like this to make a difference, okay? So he ended up with a Weisco forged piston from CCC, all the goodies supplied by Ryan from Wolf Creek Saw Shop as the cylinder, the coil, actually the intake boot, the bearings and the seals. So between them two people, we can build really, really good saws. And this is who I've been using for forever. But I just want to thank both of these suppliers for the parts that they have to offer and the great service they give. But you end up with a 76 point something, you're at a 77 cc saw. And reliable. It's going to be reliable. But the tunability issue was the seal that I pulled out of the cut side. That was a brand new seal. This is one of them 371, 372s that was bored just a tiny bit deep on the bearing pocket. So you can't seat the seal all the way in. You got to have it just slightly out. Be very careful. This is not the first time I run into this. You can see it was all the way out, and the darn thing would sit there and idle. You believe that? It'd run. It just wouldn't settle down. And I did not like having this saw not settle down. So we ended up with some nice parts in this. This is going to be one that you'll see run. We've got several saws of you guys that we will be running, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a while. Barb's doing better, so I'm going to escape a little here and there. Colin was home this weekend, so I was allowed to come out here and work all day. We didn't get out of here until 8 o'clock at night Saturday night. I was trying to get it where he had this saw for Monday morning. It just wasn't going to happen. Okay, we have a fairly stock muffler. It's been opened up. That's a nice little trick to make a dual port, isn't it? Yeah, you just make a little slit, and you end up with a dual port muffler. Nice trick, isn't it? I didn't do that. It come in on a saw. I didn't even think of doing that. You know what we build for pipes, right? Okay, now it's going to get the actual muffler that we're going to put on this. Now, loggers don't like horrendously noisy saws if they're running them all day around here. For the biggest reason, it draws attention to yourself. And I remember when skidders used to be red or orange or something like that. Now they're green. They're more passive. But when you can hear a chainsaw running 3 miles away and you know it, and it does jangle your nerves, I'll admit it does. There isn't even a question. I got no problem getting enough oil, I can see that. That's a good thing. I'm happy about that. Okay, this is what we're putting on it. This is an early design, one that I did quite a long time ago. I learned to go straight out with them, but this is a safe design. So when you flip your saw down, you're not getting leaves on fire. I'll tell you what we tried on this, and it didn't work. I don't know if I got it right here handy or not. Yeah, one of these. I didn't like how it run at all. This side hits the chain brake. This side puts all the exhaust heat right on your freaking chain and bar. You're already running hot enough there. But we're going to use the bracket off of this. That's what we're going to do. So what I got to do is play the silly game of getting this muffler together, because this will be on the saw permanent. I try very hard to take care of the local loggers, and those of you that are loggers I built saws for already. I'm tired. You can probably tell that, King. I'm really tired. It's been a long week. This whole thing with Barb's kind of had me by the short hairs anyway, which I'm sure you can understand. And but I thought I'd better make a video just to show you guys how much I appreciate you, and to show you what we've been doing. You know, there's an awful lot of times that when I'm not making videos, I'm busy doing something. I really am. Like this build, I would have loved to cover that, but it does slow you up when you're trying to build. We're trying to build fast, hard, and in a hurry. And this darn gasket's going to screw with me. I can see that. So we're going to have to pull that back off. Get all of them lined up together. This is way harder with the top cover on. I'm going to tilt that camera down so you can kind of see what I'm fighting with. I really, really am excited about running this saw in the wood. I really am. I think that we have a wonderful, wonderful build here. We have something that's going to really, it's going to haul a mail, so to speak. And it's more than I generally would build for like a firewood guy or a regular homeowner, which I built some pretty good ones for them. But this is more. This might be the one that'll run Junkyard Dog right down. And that would be a pretty neat test, wouldn't it, run that saw? Keep in mind, though, when we do that, Junkyard Dog is factory bore, 50 millimeter. This one's 52. Okay, so if poor old Junkyard Dog don't keep up with this one, I'm gonna get my nose bent, number one. But I build a bow, so why not, right? Aren't we allowed? Wouldn't that be fun? I'm gonna do it too. This has got to break in. Junkyard Dog ain't got a lot of time, but it is broken. I gotta admit that. This one here hasn't seen much yet. But I tell you what, I bet you in the next couple of weeks it'll see a lot. Because these guys are going fast and hard at cutting oak and maple. Hardwoods are up. I don't know how far they're going to go up. I'll tell you what do you think of the price of lumber in the store, softwood? Ho. I went to go buy some chipboard. $31 and change a sheet for that. Less than a half inch. You know what? They can keep it. They can. There's nothing I got going on that needs it that darn bad. Quite honestly. I'll put that strap on in a little bit. I'd like to start this for you if you want to know the truth. And I got a funny feeling I'm going to take tomorrow off. I might come out here and work for a while in the morning. I can tell Bart's feeling better. Meals are getting good again. I wasn't complaining. No. But I see she's making his pork chops and a little bit of stuffing. Like that stuff. Little tater. Gotta have my tater by my meat. I really do. That's what makes my world go around. Now this, I don't have the chain braking stuff on yet because we just changed that seal. But I'm going to go ahead and see if this will start. And we'll play around with tuning just a bit probably. Because I know that it may or may not. I had it a little rich. So it might just come right on in. But when you stop and think, 52 millimeter bore with white skull, forged piston, 390 carb, little pipe. It's going to be a good saw. It really is. Oh, I don't have my choke lever hooked up yet, do I? Well, let's just see what the old girl does. By Jove, I think it's going to run, ain't it? Losing my glasses, guys. This one sure got a lot of oomph to it, I can tell you that. Just a little tweak. Give her another little shot here. Set that high idle. It's allowed to quit once, ain't it? Takes a bit to get them dialed in. You don't think that needs choking again, do you? I'm not choking it no more than that. I'm going to set these foolish things down. Maybe you don't like this muffler, huh? Well, there's a little problem. My throttle cable come out of the gas tank. There's a little holder. I gotta see if I can get that in there. I got lucky. Went right back in just like that. When you tear these things apart and you put them back together, don't second guess yourself, I'm going to tell you. But pay attention to what's going on. That is something I've had happen in the past with these saws. So let's just see now. Turn the switch on. Boy, you can tell I just hate with it. I'm tired. They really wanted that muffler. I'm glad, really glad I did that. Let me open this door here. I gotta roll around. I'll tell you what, when they got me this office chair, bourbon color, they did me the best favor they ever could. They really did. I was sitting on a stool out here. Well, you know I had back surgery, got rods in my back. It didn't do me any good. It didn't. It made things kind of rough, if you want to know the truth. So what I got to do now? I got stuff all in the way. I know maybe what I'll do is play around at cleaning this darn bench back up, putting things away. We got a bunch of new parts in. I got to order some more parts. I'm dropping things again, and we're gonna. Okay, this is a good build. Even if you guys are just cutting firewood and stuff, just watch the numbers. I'll tell you what the numbers are. My exhaust opening on this is 97 degrees. My intake, from the time the piston opens on the way up, so where the intake stroke, till it closes, is 157. So we got 2 sevens there. And I kind of chose them for a reason. But I'm going to tell you, and plus we got the big transfers, you know, cut the web out, the whole 9 yards like we normally do. This particular cylinder, for whatever reason, I've never seen another one like it. My transfers open 30 degrees after my exhaust opens, okay? 30 degrees. Normally they settle in at about 24, maybe 25. I probably, in the past, would have not, door's blowing open, would not have run this cylinder being 30 degrees. But I wanted to see, because I know the trend for YouTube builders is to push that transfer opening real tight to when the exhaust opens. You got to think about what's going on, guys. When that piston is on its way down after it fired and it starts to open, there's kind of a hard charge that comes out into the muffler. This is why pipes, your muffler, and everything's got to work together. Everything has to work together. So, as that comes down, normally it's 24 or 25 degrees later. I know that I have enough pressure drop that I can let them transfers open, put air fuel mixture up into on top of that piston, and that'll shove out the rest of the exhaust. But I went ahead and tried to see what 30 degrees does. 30 degrees, actually, we're going to find out when it's in wood. They all sound good on a bench, you know that. It's a little later yet. Maybe we accidentally stumbled onto something. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut once in a while, don't he? He finds it. Maybe by giving this a little more time with this short stroke, these are longer than 272, 372 is, but it's a bigger bore. So let's call it a shorter stroke or a bigger bore. However, the combination is different. I wanted to see, by giving that exhaust more time to expel and then put the air fuel into it, can we get a cleaner charge? Can we? This was a test, and it still is a test. But when that darn seal went on this, I had myself convinced that, well, you can't use 30 degrees difference. Well, guess what? You can. And I did everything. I went through, and I don't second guess myself very often. Once in a blue moon, something does it. And this one right here did it for me. It had me. It had me. And I'll tell you another one that had me is I refuse to believe that coil was bad. But it was. So they'll start and run them, get hot and quit. That or they don't work at all. But it did have a weak spark. I thought, well, maybe, let's just see. You know, it might be the resistance to the plug, blah, blah, blah. Happy horse doo-doo, huh? Well, none of that. I know a good many out there, you guys watching, would love to have a 372 big bore with a forged piston and good bearings, just good everything. 390 carb, all the brand new parts that the darn thing wanted. It's an old crusty looking saw, but I'm gonna warn you guys, this is a brand new saw. All it is just an old body. Jesus, I wonder if I can get a rebuild like that, huh? What do you think? Once in a while, you get a bolt you don't like the feel of, and I just got one right here. I don't like the feel of that. Oh, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. Let me see if I can get one of these bottom little jokers started. I hope I can. I'd like to think I can. It's the little things that make it. Okay, I got that one to start. I'm going to have to dig me up another one right here. And then we'll get this in. This has been a fun build. About 1 out of 4 saws, 1 out of 3, I end up with either a carb issue or some little thing. In this case here, it was kind of a big thing. I would have expected an old saw to have a bad seal. I did not expect this one. But when you catch them, you will look with that bearing pocket. Sometimes there was machining these Husqvarnas just a little deep. Gotta watch that. If you run into that, don't set your seal quite as deep. Because you got on the clutch side, you got that little bushing there that actually seals against the seal. And I'll tell you a little something. That's got to seal against that bearing, that little... If you take one apart, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just slides out the crank. It goes back in the seal. Use a little bit of this. Chemically clean both surfaces, your bearing and your little hat deal there. And put just a little thin skin of this on there to seal that against that bearing. And you'll be glad you did. Because you can potentially have a little leak there. And a little leak will give you some fits on some saws. Boy, I'm glad this is going together right. Yeah, he wanted to run that. This is Callan M's saw. He wanted to run this today. And I says, I don't dare. He said, well, it's running. I said, yeah, but it ain't like I like it. They don't leave here till I'm happy with them. If I'm not happy with them, I'll stay. I'll get it. every time I'll get it. But it was a nice build. As far as assembling the saw, the port work, everything come right in. It come right in the line just as good as anything you ever expect. I mean, really nice. There we go. We got it. Now, keep in mind, guys, when you put mufflers on, I double gasket these here. I do. I put a gasket on each side of that plate. And I don't trust that. I've seen too many of them leak. Run your saw a bit, and then check to see if your muffler's tight. There's been too many times I've had them run loose just a bit. You might have to check them 2 or 3 times. I know you guys have probably dealt with that too. Okay. He got the stickers. Yep, he did. Yep, got that one. That makes this an official saw, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Okay, what I've got left now is I've got to get this rubber down in these little clips right here on the back of the carb into the air horn. Just gotta be careful and work them in. You don't gotta break them. Okay, them are in. Pretty happy about that. That looks good. We have a good throttle. Everything's buttoned up. Double and triple check yourself if you want a good build. It doesn't hurt nothing. I don't care how long you've been building saws or you're just starting out. And I'll tell you another thing is, if you're first time taking saws apart, if you got a phone on your camera, take pictures of where things were. Even your bolts. Just take lots of pictures. It'll help you. I do that when I get into saws that I'm not working on all the time or haven't. Or some of them are puzzle saws, you know. But I'm pretty piped about this build. I want you guys to know that. I'm pretty piped about it. I can't wait to see him run this. It's going to be a nice saw. And it was Colin, it was a pleasure building this for you. It really was. Once you start running ported saws, cutting timber, you don't want to go back to stock. I can tell you that. Factory, ain't nothing wrong with factory saws, because you know they got a job to do, but these makes the job a little bit more fun. That's what it does. I don't have many more saws here that I need to build. I got just a few. And we're going to get them wrapped up, because I'll tell you what we're doing. We got them 125 Max we're building. We got that 372 reed saw that we putting the head on. We got to finish that. I've got a 173 Mac that I'm finishing. We got that Mac that we're going to put the 084 crank and cylinder on and piston, that 125. We got that build. And I've got a few more surprises. And we're working on bikes too. When Colin's around, we're working on bikes too. So there's bikes we have that you haven't seen yet, and you will. Yeah, we actually Saturday, Colin took my KTM 250 apart. One of the head bolts started leaking water just a bit. I don't like leaks. So we got that to fix. And we'll find somebody who wants to ride that. That's when I freaking broke a couple bones in my top of my foot 2 years ago. Just put the darn thing together and boom, boom. Boy, they're orangutans, them dang things are. Some of them 2-stroke bikes are a riot. I'd much rather ride a 500 than 250 a lot of times. You know what they expect with the 500s. But them 250s are real in your face. I mean, they really get it. And don't think some of them 125s ain't other than I weigh enough to hold them down. Guys, I'm really tired. Gotta get my supper. Nice talking to you again. Goodbye.